Oscar, what's your favorite color of cat? Is it orange? Really? Orange? What about black cats? Yeah, your brother's black. Yeah, and you're orange. Is that your favorite color? Well, let's look at some books that have cat prompts, and we'll give some people some recommendations. So I'm going to do some book tags and give you guys some recommendations of some of my favorite books over the years. They're not all new books, they're a lot of older books, but it's just a quick short one, so this should be kind of fun. I'm going to be doing one that I got from Corner of Laura, and it's I linked it down in the description, and it is the cat markings book tags. So this is kind of fun because, as everybody knows, I love cats and we have lots of them. So the first tag was for black cats. So black rescue cats take 13% more time to rehome than cats of other colors. And I've found that as well. So the prompt is to come up with a book that doesn't get the love it deserves. So the book that I have for that one is my old favorite, Watership Down. And honestly, the reason I think this book doesn't get all the love it deserves, which it deserves everything, I love this book so much, is because the movie that came out, the cartoon that came out years and years ago, was rather traumatizing. If you've ever seen some clips or pictures, I'll maybe put a couple on the screen. A very traumatizing movie and not really meant for kids. So a lot of people saw that when they were kids and it traumatized them, so they don't read the book. However, this book, I know you guys have heard me rave about it on other videos. This is one of my all-time favorite books, and I've reread it multiple times, like 11, 12 times. So this one follows the story of Hazel and Fiver. They're two rabbits. They live in England, and Fiver has an ability to kind of see the future and see when things are going to happen, and he gets a premonition that something very terrible is going to happen at their warren where all the rabbits live. So they try and convince the chief rabbit to leave the warren and take everybody with him, but of course he doesn't believe them. So they get a small band together of their friends and they leave and go on an adventure to try and find a new home. And it is just such a good book. The characters are so good. It's full of good storytelling. The rabbits themselves tell stories about their own mythology, and I just love all those stories as well. And it's such a classic and an adventure. And again, the characters I think are what does it for me the most, because I just love the rabbit characters in this book. And even though it's rabbits, it's still it's one of those things that's just so much fun and such an adventure, and there's so much high stakes in it. But I feel like it doesn't get the love it deserves because too many people were traumatized by the cartoon when they were children. So yes, that is my book for that one. The next one is White Cats. So studies show that 20% of purebred white cats are actually deaf. So what is a book with great disability representation? So I actually wanted to ask people if they can let me know some good books that have good disability representation, because a lot of the books that I read are older, and so they don't have a lot of good disability rep in them, like a lot of the newer books do. And so I'm looking to read some more. So let me know what you would put for that prompt. But the one that I ended up choosing was actually Heartstopper. And I read the first, 4 volumes? I haven't read the new one yet. And the reason I'm picking that one is because of the mental health issues that it discusses. And for me, mental health is a huge deal because I have severe anxiety, severe social anxiety, and it is definitely a disability. because it affects every aspect of my life. It affects my ability to work. It affects my ability to travel, pretty much everything. And I really appreciated the way mental health is handled, and anxiety and depression is handled in Heartstopper. The main character, Nick, really struggles with depression and anxiety and a bunch of mental health issues. And throughout the story, he's learning to deal with those with the help of his friends. And I really, really appreciate the way mental health is handled in those books. So that's why I wanted to choose those ones. But if you have any books that have a lot of good representation that you would recommend me read, let me know, because I'm looking for some. Next up is ginger cats, like my Oscar. And 80% of ginger cats are male. And so who is your favorite male character? So I'm going to put it up on the screen here, even though I have the book, but I have it in an omnibus. But my favorite male character is Alexander Kinloch from To the Hilt by Dick Francis. So I've read a lot of Dick Francis novels. He wrote many, many over the years, and he passed away a few years ago. But all of his mysteries and thrillers involved some aspect of horses in them, usually horse racing, because that's what the world that he was in. But this particular one, To the Hilt, is one of my all-time favorite books. And the main character is Alexander Kinloch, and he is actually an artist. And he lives in Scotland by himself. He's kind of a quirky character. And I don't know what it is about that character in particular, but he captured me from the moment I started that book. I was 2 pages in when, an event happened to him, and it just, like, I was so on the edge of my seat because I wanted him to, I was so worried about him already because I just loved him. And I love the way he describes the artwork that he's doing and the thought behind all the artwork. I love the way that Dick Francis takes characters that have different professions and works them into the story. And this one, being about an artist, I feel kind of a connection because I am also an artist. And so it's quite that aspect of it I really love. And I love his character because he's just so he's got such good morals, and yet he's such a he's a caring character. And I don't know, I really, really like the way he's written. So that's why he is my favorite male character. And I have read that book multiple times as well. And so basically the plot of it is Alex is an artist living in Scotland, and he comes home one day and he gets attacked by these people that he assumes are thieves. And so that kind of starts the story off. And then he also gets called to deal with an issue with his father-in-law, who has an important racehorse. He gets called back to London, I believe it is, to help with an issue that his father-in-law is having with this important racehorse. And he ends up getting sucked into this mystery involving that, and there's a lot of money involved. And so anyways, he gets sucked into the mystery, and it's a really, really good story, and he is my favorite male character. So next up, we have tortoiseshell cats, and nearly all torties are female cats. So who is your favorite female character? So I went with Amelia Peabody. So this is the first book in the Amelia Peabody series, and I can't remember how many there is. There's something like 24 or 25 of them. And she's passed away now, the author, that is Elizabeth Peters. She's passed away now, but there's a full series of these, and they're set in the Victorian age, and most of them are set in Egypt. Now, Amelia is a very self-confident, strong-willed woman living in the Victorian age, and in the first book, she ends up she's on a trip and she's headed to Egypt with the money that her father left her when he passed away. And she ends up meeting a young lady in Rome who who's fallen into a really bad situation. And so she basically rescues her and takes her with her, and they end up going to Egypt on this vacation, and they meet this pair of brother archaeologists, and a whole adventure and mystery ensues. And then that carries forward to the future books where she is working as an archaeologist in Egypt. And she's just such a fun character. There is a lot of colonial attitudes in that, because that's what was going on at the time period. But she is such a fun character because she doesn't take guff from anybody, and she's a tough woman, and she's just got like quite the attitude. And I really love her character. So I'm actually in the process of, I'm going to be doing a full reread of that series, because I actually had only ever read 7 or 8 of them, I think, which is usually where I tend to peter out on series, but I do want to read the whole series. So I'm hoping to do that with the help of having a series tracker now to keep me going. If you hear a lot of noise in the background, it's my bunny. He's mad at me because I was moving things around, and so he's digging at everything.
Well, excuse me. I am interrupting this vlog for a very important message. I am not the one making all the noise. Well, okay, yeah, I am making all the noise, but it's her fault, 'cause she stole some of my papers that were on the floor that I was eating. So now I am mad. So that is the real truth behind the story. Back to your regularly scheduled programming.
So I don't know if you can hear the noise he's making, but anyway. So that's that one, my favorite female character. So let's look at calico cats. So calico cats are considered lucky in many cultures, but the most famous lucky calico cat is the Japanese Maneki Niko. So this one is a character that you wish was your best friend, because, lucky friends, right? So, hi Oscar again. So I decided I wanted to pick the librarian from What You Are Looking For Is in the Library, and her name is Sayuri Komachi. And this is one of my favorite books of the year so far. I just absolutely love this book. And basically the story is about, it's told from, I think, 5 different people who all are at different parts of their life. There's a new graduate, there's, somebody who's struggling with anxiety and depression as he's older. There's an old man who has recently retired and feels useless. There's, people like that. So there's 5 different people, and somehow they all find themselves in this small community library in Tokyo, and they meet this librarian, and she gives them recommendations on books that they ask her for recommendations on a certain topic. And when she gives them the recommendations, there's always a book on there that is not is not part of the topic that they were asking about, but somehow that book ends up kind of changing their outlook on life. And she's just such a cool character. Like, I would love to have her as a friend and be able to talk to her when I'm struggling, because it's just like, she seems to know what you need to hear, and just has a second sight that, helps you solve your issues. And just, she's also, she just strikes me as such an encouraging character, even though she's quite unique and not like, she's not like, Miss Talkative, super friendly, sort of thing, but she's just such a unique character with such an insight into people. And I think that's why I would love to have her as a friend that you could just go and talk to when you're struggling, because I think she would inspire me to keep going and to not give up on dreams and that sort of thing. So that's why I picked her. Then we have tabby cats. So tabbies are considered the most extroverted and social cats. So what is a character who is the life and soul of the party? So for that one, I decided to choose Flan. Now, this is a graphic novel series. There are 2 out so far, and she's working on the 3rd one. This is by Danita Stallard, and she is a very good friend of mine. And I just love this character. She is just so much fun. And like, the artwork in here is just incredible. Like, let me just show you here. Like, look at this beautiful artwork. Like, it's so, like, the expressions on the characters are so cool. And so basically what this story is it's set in northern Manitoba, and it's back in the time of the gold rush and prospectors and all that fun stuff. And it's about this guy named James, and he is a attempted prospector. He is trying to be a prospector, and he ends up running across this lady out in the woods named Flan. And Flan is looking for her missing cousin, who is part of a cryptozoological research team. And the adventure ensues from there. And it is just so much fun. The drawings are so much fun. But I think that Flan would just be like the absolute life of the party, because she doesn't like just take no for an answer. And she just, throws caution to the wind and heads out and does things and, drags James along, which would be, that would be like me being the non-adventurous type and getting dragged into all kinds of adventures with a character like her. So I think she would just be the absolute life of the party. And I mean, like, look at how she's drawn. Isn't she cool? Like, she's just the absolute coolest. And yeah. So anyway, I highly, highly recommend this graphic novel series, and I can't wait for the next one to come out. But I think that Flan would be my life of the party character that I would love to hang out with and have fun with. And the final prompt is a clouder of cats. So the collective nouns for cats include a clouder, a glaring, a cluster, and a litter. So who's your favorite fictional squad? And for that one, I had to go with the characters from the Fellowship of the Ring. I haven't actually read the whole series. I've just read the Fellowship. I'm going to hopefully read the whole series this year. But I also love the movies and everything, so I know the whole story. But I just love the Fellowship characters. They are just so. I love the way they interact with each other. I love the hobbits. They're so much fun, and they have such unique characters. And of course, Aragorn and Legolas and Gimli. I love the banter all the time between Legolas and Gimli, and I just when they battle and stuff. I'm big into like Viking Age and stuff like that. So I like kind of that kind of sword play type battle stuff. And when these guys battle, they're powerful and they're awesome, and they're just such a cool group of people heading out on an adventure. And so I really, really enjoy them as characters, and I'm looking forward to reading the rest of the trilogy this year, and enjoying that, because I know I really, really love the characters from the first book. So, and I love the characters in the movie. So yeah, that is my cat color book tags. And so let me know what your answers would be for some of these questions. And it's especially let me know what book you would recommend that has good disability rep, because like I said, I read a lot of older books, and that wasn't as much of a thing back then. And I'm trying to, get caught up and, read a lot of newer books now. A lot of the books that I have on my shelves, which is why I've been reading older books, is because I'm trying to read a lot of the ones on my shelves, and they're from, the early 2000s and, early 20 and like the 2010s, kind of thing. So I'm looking for some good books with good disability rep. So anyways, but yeah, let me know if you've read any of the ones that I mentioned here and what you thought of them as well. And I will catch you guys on the next video. Bye.